architectural features, structures that you can take people to and show them on the ground. Whereas, most of the places in the world, the archaeological sites are buried deep in the ground. So there's not too much for the normal citizen to identify with except for artifacts, beautiful art objects or something like that. Here in Hawaii we have large temple ruins, house sites, agricultural terraces, stone-lined awai, these irrigation ditches. So we have a lot of features that people can look at and see when they walk across the ground. Well, early on in my job at the Department of Land and Natural Resources, I was involved in review of the H3 project. And because of the various court proceedings, the Department of Transportation, Highways Division, has been continually coming back for approvals, revising the environmental impact statement to where I believe the last one was the 4th supplemental environmental impact statement. So in my review of one of those documents early on, I came to review the original archaeological report for H3 Freeway. And quite frankly, I was appalled. The report involved almost nothing in way of subsurface testing, almost no review of historical literature. And when I looked at that report, and this was a report that had already been approved by the Department of Land and Natural Resources, so at that point there wasn't really anything for me to do, because even though I thought the report was inadequate, you can't just give an agency an approval and then all of a sudden 2 years later say, no, we don't approve of it anymore. So in that sense, it was just a matter that I looked at the report. It was so minimal, but there was nothing I could do about it. The only thing that I did note at that time was that where H3 passed through Kaneohe, a previous survey had been done for the Ho'omalahia Park area, and in that report it had said that the archaeologists at the Mission Museum were looking forward to the H3 survey because they had located numerous agricultural terraces in the H3 area in the Luluku area of H3. So that's one thing I looked at, and I said, well, gee, here they noted in this earlier report that there were agricultural terraces in the area of H3. Also, in looking at the historical records, I could see that there were a large number of Mahele awards in the Luluku area along Luluku Stream, and this meant that there were many Hawaiians farming along Luluku Stream in the 1850s. So that again led me to believe that there should be archaeological sites in that area. The incident that I suppose prompted additional archaeological work in the area before the final acceptance of the environmental impact statement was that I got a call one day from one of the Hawaiians living in the Luluku area who was concerned that they saw these flags, these engineering flags, and it looked like surveying was being done in this area where they thought there was a Hawaiian heiau. So I went out, I looked at the site, and it did appear to be some kind of religious structure. And since I was familiar with the previous reports, I asked also, were there any other sites in the area? And they said, yeah, we have some stone walls down in the woods over here. And whereupon we went down in the woods and we went on terrace after terrace after terrace, going down the hillside for several acres. So obviously there were a lot of archaeological sites in this area that had never been reported that were directly in the pathway of H3. I contacted the Department of Transportation, which subsequently led to the H3 surveys and the report on the Luluku survey, which was published and is available from the Mission Museum. Like in many cases throughout Hawaii, I was surprised to find out the extent and the value of the archaeological sites in the Luluku area. I've driven through that area many times on the Ikalike Highway. We see the banana patches. It would appear as if there's no sites at all in the area. But when I began to investigate, I discovered that there were a wide range of site types and sites with a great deal of interpretive value. And that's why the Luluku area has been so interesting to me, is that I can take people into that area and show them a lot of things about Hawaiian culture and history, all in one little area. And this is a lot better than in most cases where I can go to a state park and talk about a heiau and Hawaiian religion, but there's nothing else around it. It's just one site, one type, and that's it. In the Luluku area, we have several religious sites. We have agricultural sites. We have house sites. We have springs. We have Hawaiian plants. And we have historic land use changes to talk about that process too. One of the interesting things is the springs in the area. Springs are associated with the god Kane and Kanaloa. There's a spring called Kumu Kumu Spring in the Luluku area, and this spring is associated with the heiau Kukuio Kane Heiau. It's a large spring. It's still flowing. It has watercress in it. There are a number of Hawaiian trees in the area, the trees brought to Hawaii by the Polynesians. Ulu, our breadfruit, niu, the coconut palm. There is a structure adjacent to the spring that appears to be a heiau. It has a large, well-built, well-preserved stone wall, what appears to be a stone-paved floor. It has what appear to be image holes in the wall. So it's an excellent state of preservation, and it's right there next to the spring. Then up on the hillside above the spring is the location of Kukuio Kane Heiau, a heiau dedicated to Kane that apparently was destroyed by the pineapple companies in 1916. We can still go up there today, however, and see things on the ground. This heiau was apparently the largest and most important in the Kaneohe region. There's another site closer to the agricultural fields on the Luluku stream that also appears to be a religious site, but this is a smaller site. Just a little concentration, or what can I say, a few stone platforms with some stone alignments adjacent to it on a little ridge overlooking the taro terraces of Luluku.
The sandbar out in the middle of Kaneohe Bay from way back in 1958. We started out with a rowboat, then we had a little motorboat, and now we have a little bigger boat. And so all our life was spent out in Kaneohe Bay at the sandbar. One day, many years back, I was wading in the water and I ran into a woman that lived right around the corner by Chinaman's Hat. A lovely home right on the edge. And we talked, and she introduced herself, and I did myself also. And she said, you know, there is no such beauty in the South Pacific as the Ko'olau Range and Kaneohe Bay. We have a schooner, and we sailed down to Tahiti because we need to go places with the boat. The boat needs to go on a long run. But she said, as we walked and waded in the water, we look at our beautiful Ko'olau. She said, there is no place. Tahiti does not excel Hawaii, the Ko'olaus. Never anything as so panoramic. Luluku.